to the flag of Liberia, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, it's a pleasant good evening on this wonderful Monday. Today is the 27th day of the month of May. Once again, we are very delighted to be here, welcoming you to another edition of Sports Talk on Intel Sports. Well, this is, of course, the program where we highlight everything about Liberian sports particularly from and about Liberia. We bring it up right here to you on this particular program. The program is on Intel Sports, and it's online on the Intel Sports Facebook page. It's also on our YouTube page live, and it's on SATCON channel 8. So tonight we will be delving into more Liberian football to tell you about. Over the weekend, the Liberia Football Association, the LFA, held its extraordinary Congress, of course, where a budget, if you may, of more than $6 million was passed. There were some who voted against the passage of the budget, but the majority, members of 25 against 13, voted for the passage of the budget. We shall be discussing what's in the budget, the Football Association budget, and of course, talking about other issues relative to football here in Liberia. And our guest this evening will be the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustafa Iraji. He will come to studio live here, and we shall be grilling him on issues relative to the well-being of Liberian football. With me tonight is, of course, Chris Walker. But just before I bring Chris in fact, let me bring Chris in, and then we'll talk about the next big thing that is happening tonight, just before the president comes in here. Chris, good evening, welcome.
It's a pleasure being here once more, starting up a new week so much to discuss. Like you said, uh, Congress Saturday was interesting. We are making gains in football, meaning women football. Our girls are doing well in our level when it comes to women football. So it's a pleasure being here once more.
All right, so we are here and to just inform you that Liberia is right about now taking on the national team of Guinea-Bissau, under 20. Our under 20 girls are playing Guinea-Bissau right about now. The game is on, and we'll just bring you the lineup courtesy of the Liberia Football Association. We'll bring you the lineup of our under 20 side. And very quickly, it is the semi-final of the WAFU Zone A competition being held in Thies, Senegal. So we have Choice Tukma. She is the captain of the team. Alberta Pratt is the goalkeeper. We have Alain Kepart, Patience Kawolo. Of course, we have Diata Langama, Victoria Wilkins, Princess Boca, Louise Brown, Erica Parsons, Edwardine Jackson, who is causing all sorts of trouble in that league, in that competition rather, and Jessica Kwashi are the players who are starting tonight for the Lone Star of Liberia. On the bench, we have Ami Doko, the goalkeeper. She's a substitute goalkeeper. We have Wakida Jacobs, Serena Zawolo, Blessing Gibbs, Malisa Jibe, of course, Hawa Fatoma, and Anita Tape. Just so that's the team for tonight. We gave you the lineup, but just to inform you that our team, the under 20 female side of Liberia, played 3 games so far, Chris, and this is the 4th game in the semifinals of the WAFU Zone A competition. They played, the first game was against Guinea. Liberia won 2-0. The second game was against Sierra Leone. Liberia won 7-0. And the third game was against Mauritania, and Liberia won 7-0. So it means that we've scored 16 goals in 3 matches. And of course, this semi-final match is now against Guinea-Bissau, who is still 0-0.
Yes, still
0-0. Well, we just came very close to scoring, but of course, we didn't. Edwardine Jackson, by the way, have scored 6 goals, 2 hat-tricks in this competition, and she has won 3 Woman of the Match award. So she is a candidate for the Most Valuable Player award. Meanwhile, Senegal, the host, just defeated a couple of minutes ago, defeated Guinea 4-0 in the first semi-final. And the winner from this match between Liberia and Guinea-Bissau will be meeting Senegal in the grand final, or do you want to say the grand finale? Meanwhile, our goalkeeper also, Pratt, she's not conceded a single goal, so it means probably she and the goalkeeper from Senegal have not conceded, so we were told it's a tough one there. But Chris, here we are performing on this, you want to say, big stage in West Africa, our girls, and of course doing so well. If they do get through, they do stand a chance because we've just eliminated Senegal. Maybe they'll be coming with a mind of avenging what we did to the under 17 side. But if we go through here, it's going to be Liberia going against Senegal. What do you make so far about our progress in this particular competition?
I think the girls have done so much well in this tournament. The fight that they went to the competition and refusing the game bonus given to them by the Liberia Football Association. They were giving $100 for this competition. They said, it is small. We are going to represent the country into a tournament. We'll play over one game. So why will you give money? It is better we play for the country free of charge than to accept $100 while we go and everyone feel that we have it all. So they went there with their mind, and I think the performance, the spirit is so high, and we should give it up to Famata Dean, who said she just want to make record for herself because she left. She went into the National League, the lower league. She became undefeated, and I think her coaching is something other players who are playing now or who played before need to look at and say, after football, I can still be an administrator or a technician. But if you look at the team, the caliber of players she selected for this team, I think they are the best in the best country, and they are performing up to expectation. Many thought they couldn't perform like that, and I knew it could have come out like this. Just before the team left, I spoke with her, and I was like, Famata, don't you think it would be good to prevail on the FA to have Louis Brown included in this team right after the qualifier with Senegal at home, the under 70? She said, I did that already, but thanks be brother for that attitude, that concern. And you can see Louis Brown, she's playing well in the tournament. Since she left, and she's playing well in the tournament. So all I think this team need is to keep it together, because we are noted for always breaking teams apart. Ansu Keita came, he got big-headed and said he wanted to go coach the senior team. And where we ended, all of the youth players he brought up, that system, even the under 20, we don't have it like that. So I hope we can keep this team together, because finding female to play football is getting difficult. It's getting difficult. So if we can keep them together, in the next 2-3 years, we are having a very good national team. And the under 17 is doing well also.
Okay, so the thoughts of Chris right here. So we will shortly be welcoming the president of the Liberian Football Association, Mustafa Al-Raji. But let us also, yes, Chris talked about the issue of per dime for the girls. Yes, we run a kind of football in Liberia that is minimally supported. Everyone knows that. One of the biggest things we've always said about our football is that there is no money. The no money syndrome always rings around our football. And so, yes, there was a lot of things said. In fact, the previous competition, we could not go to it because there was no money. The girls did not attend. A lot of people who were running girls football felt bad because we can't spend our time preparing for competition and time to participate. There is no money. But of course, this time around, we are there. And of course, we are making good our being there by our performances. But the same thing about no money. We all know national teams, of course, are the property of the public, the government, of course. So it means it is owned by the government, the property of the government. So any property of the government is supposed to run it. The government is supposed to fund it. So all the FA does is to take care, and whatsoever they get from the government is what is spent on the team. So if, for example, the government says, right now, we don't have the money, you guys will have to manage with this, the FA, of course, will convey to the girls, this is what was given to us for you. And the girls say, no, we don't want it because we think that it's too small, but we will play with our hearts, and maybe you people will have a rethink. And that's exactly what is going on. We did have the president in fact, the third vice president of Liberian football, and an executive committee member in Julie Seaton. And we also had the head of Liberian football, women's football, Liberian Football Association, here one evening on the program. And of course, we brought it forth to them, and they said, well, they talked to the girls. They are now working out modalities to ensure that, especially based on their performances and all of that, that, the money whatsoever it is be stepped up. And I'm sure if it is the wish of every Liberian that as long as those girls make us happy, we too should make them happy. So I'm sure the government has, listened. So I'm very, very sure that they're doing everything. But the president will speak to that once he comes on here on the program. But as it stands, the score is still 0-0. Liberia going against Guinea-Bissau in the semi-final of the WAFU Zone A competition. To tell you about another competition that Liberia will be playing, that one will be on the 9th of June. So it's about to make it 12 days from now at the SKD Sports Complex when Nigeria comes to town. I know whenever people hear Nigeria coming to town, everybody gets afraid. Oh, Nigeria is a big gun. We're not able to play them. We can't do anything against them. But what's up as at stake here is qualification to the Under-17 World Cup. And it's crucial. We are at a stage, I want to say, Chris, just one step away. 2 games away you want, but in all fairness, just one step away. So Liberia plays home, and the return leg is in a week's time in Nigeria. Let's look at this. Can our girls, our Under-17 at this level, of course, we got here after we eliminated Senegal. And no need to continue saying it because a lot about that. Eliminating Senegal for the first time at any level in African football. The Under-17 girls set that record. And now they are faced with another giant, or you want to say giantess, in African football, Nigeria. Looking at the two sides and looking at the fact that Nigeria was at the last competition, World Cup, Under-17, they were there. I think we have an uphill task, but it is still not impossible with the zest and momentum, enthusiasm that those girls have and the level of preparations that they're going through.
I think the result from that Senegal game has increased their momentum, their confidence going into the game with Nigeria. I'm seeing some flyers all on Facebook saying they will be at the game. It is good for the game. We need more people on the stadium to cheer the girls. It's not impossible for Liberia to qualify over Nigeria. People said the team couldn't qualify over Senegal, but they did. The qualifier was Senegal. So now Nigeria, they know they are just a step away from making history to go to the first ever World Cup a Liberian team participate in. So I think the girls can do it, but we need to support. Where are they now? Are they still on camp? Where are they camping? Because sometimes you make them get comfortable. You take them to probably Boulevard Hotel or whatsoever. But with the minimum resources, you have to take them to the George Weah Technical Center where current don't sleep on, probably. They don't have the requisite medication or whatsoever. But they are there. I believe in Sekou Georges Moruba. After the game with Senegal, I spoke with him. And I'm like, the performance I saw in the second half, if we can just double it, we can win at home. I wasn't thinking about qualification, but winning. But he girls qualify. So I think it is not impossible. All we need to do, all the country need to do, is to invest. Give them all the necessary support. Ask the coach, what do you want? Go to the girls. Try to motivate them. They are all kids, almost 17. So they are around 14, 15, 16. They're kids. Now, they just want to play football. It's not about money. It's not about padam, like the under 20. So how do we invest? This is one way your country is being so out of your country. If you are these big events, so going to the World Cup is good for us, and it will be good for the ranking of Liberia. But I think the girls are doing well, and they can pull an upset over Nigeria. But I'm saying to you, it is not impossible. Nigeria is a big side. We must admit to that, but it's not impossible. You can win home, go away, and have a good strategy. Probably settle to a draw or whatsoever. You can qualify. You saw the game with Man City and Manchester United over the weekend. Everyone knew Man City is a big team. Manchester United is a big team, but they are not in form. But Manchester had a strategy, allow them to play the ball and catch them on the break. So probably Nigeria could come with the same strategy. Once you win them, you go away, you defend well, and grab them on the break.
All right. Chris Walker, right here. Some of your thoughts are coming through tonight on the program for some who are following. Of course, Princess Mami Duru, she's following from Buchanan. Thanks for following. We hope you can share it as well or invite others to watch review. Of course, is it Sumo Setwa? He says, he's asking whether we are not showing the game. No, we don't have the rights to the game. So we can't broadcast the game without having a right to it, so we can show it out there to you publicly. All right? Because we don't have the rights. It's not something anybody can just show, especially for an institution like us, a big institution like this. Before we do that, WAFU will have to give us the green light. If we did so and they saw it, of course, we could be reprimanded for that. Okay? So we're very sorry if you're not watching the game. That is because we don't have the right to it. Anthony Kwekwe is watching. Good evening to you, Anthony Kwekwe, a very good friend. David, you say you are following from Gardnersville. Of course, Daniel Osando, Honorable Minister, Deputy Minister for Information Technical Services there. Good evening to you. Josh, you are watching live from Europe, Greece. In fact, that's where you are. Thanks.
That's former Liberia International, George Bull.
Yeah, George Bull.
He used to play on 15, on 17.
Yeah, George Bull came from the youth ranks as well. And he did play for the senior national team.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Josh Bull.
Yeah. All right. Eku is watching. And of course, he says, I'm really disappointed why we can't support our girls' games. Well, the president will answer to that when he comes here. Of course, Gandhi watching from Washington State in the USA. And of course, Philando Dennis, you say, if football, anything can happen. You're following from Kigali there in Rwanda. So, yeah, we have our followers from all across the world watching right here. So we'll take a very short break. Of course, when we come back, I'm definitely sure the president of Liberian football will be here with us, Mustafa Araji, so we can go through talking about the dons happening to Liberian football. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Of course, update from the game, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia. It is still 0-0, 0-0. While we await the arrival of a president who will be here very shortly, we can assure you of that. The basketball league is as well playing. Is now at the SKD Gymnasium. It's no longer being played there on Broad Street on the Open Air Sports Commission, as it used to be called. Is now being played in the Gymnasium at the SKD there. Chris, you've been following. I understand LPRC Oilers won on yesterday against Cestus, Michael Joseph, Cestus Mongols. I saw Intel Sports, of course, do an interview with the captain. I don't know, we could bring that interview on shortly so you hear
Glenn Nimley is the captain of Cestus
what Glenn Nimley had to say about it. And then we'll talk just a little bit about that before. Yeah. So here's the interview. Okay, we're trying to get it up. Okay, so yeah, now it's an interview with Glenn Nimley.
So, children, I think the basketball league is getting more interesting. And one thing about the basketball league, I think that is bringing more people to the games is because we have more foreign players playing in the basket than our national football league. Like in the women division of the football league, you have foreign players. But the basketball league, nearly all of the teams have some kind of foreign input. And you can see the level of our basketball. Basketball has been not played where people know at the end of this season, they'll be going out to go play. People were there playing basketball the last 4 years or 4 or 5 years because the country was banned because of leadership crashing. But now the league is getting even tougher with the likes of Cestus Mongols, Bujobu, LPRC, Barrow. They are getting tougher and tougher by the day. But I think the Basketball Association themselves not doing good for the league. Not doing good for the league.
When you say they're not going good, because the thing here is basketball has been played. Yes, I know there are a couple of foreign players playing for various teams in the country. The league is played at the SKD Gymnasium, unlike when it used to be right here on Broad Street in that little sports commission where it used to be crowded up and what have you. Usually I'm not there, but I do follow. The gymnasium is almost empty.
And that's why I'm saying they are not doing good for the league. Because, hey, I'm happy they took it to the gymnasium. But you should invest into media and publicity. There's no media and publicity about the basketball league. So how do people go to the league? The games are being played. If you tell someone I'm going to the gymnasium to go watch Oilers and Barrow, it's like the person is like, do we have a basketball league? It's because you are not investing. So how do you get money? Not to get people to the gymnasium. You only have die-hard fans or people who are related to players or to clubs going for the game. So I think Rufus Anderson, Michael Joseph, Calvin Dix, they need to invest in.
Who are you talking about? Miss Samuka?
Yeah, not Rufus Anderson. Everybody Samuka. Michael Joseph is a big media guy. And if you have a league, you are the vice president. If you are the vice president and the league is not being promoted like that, I think something is
why do you think, of course, basketball
before let's go to Glenn Glenn Nimley, the captain of Cestus Mongols, after the defeat to others Following that, we bring you Muta Toure of Privacy Others, who spoke to our reporter Elijah Pan following the weekend clash.
Yeah, our team performance, we play like we're supposed to play. Let's get it straight. Oilers is not an underdog team. We won Oilers the first time, and Oilers came back wanting to win this time. And today, they had the upper hand to win. We missed a couple of free throws, and they had it wrong. Well, we missed free throws. We went wrong by missing a lot of free throws. We had 10, 11 free throws we missed. So that's on us to blame.
Let's look at the league starting with the game period. You started on a very good note. At the second quarter, the pace dropped. What was that?
Yeah, we you see, as you go through the game, you see our bench. We're not much, right? Like we 10 at most. So as you go along, running up and down, fatigue, it's the rain season. We might not have, we practice days and stuff like that. We're not practicing every day because of the rain. So we got to adjust to that. We're trying to find plays to fight for. Yeah, we got to go back to our drawing board. We, the coach, the players, and the coaches, we got to go back to our drawing board and draw up a new game plan for the next game and for the rest of the season. Yeah, it's the best. Everything that goes through is the player. As much as the coach got his say or got his game plan, the players on the field is the one that's supposed to affect or go ahead with the coach game plan. Once they're not going with the coach game plan, they have to be here.
Okay,
so
you talk about not practicing every day. That is administrative issue.
It's not administrative. It's more like rain season. It's more for the rain season. So what we practice is open. So we don't have time. Once the rain, we don't have time to gather for practice. We don't address that. We don't have more matches to lock. We address that before the next match because we got other places we're trying to get to win for us to use for practice. Yeah, I can make it fit it. Taking going up to constant. Yeah.
How do you view the entire league season to be from the start on to today?
No, we will get there. It's not up to par or what we want to be administratively with the LBA, but we'll get there. It's a gradual process. Yeah, our team performance, we play like we're supposed to play. Let's get it straight. Oilers is not an.
So that's Glenn Nimland, captain of Cestop Morgan, talking about his team. Like we were just talking, he said they don't practice regularly because of the rain. And these are problems we face in our sporting sector. These are problems we face. But, but with all fairness,
No, Chris, it is a shame. This is Liberia. We are Africa's oldest independent nation. Let's call a spade a spade. To be in this country, basketball after football is the biggest in the country. It's no gainsaying. There was even once upon a time an argument whether we have more people playing basketball than football, but of course we don't want to get into that. But the thing is, how is it or why is it that a country like Liberia does not even have a gymnasium? I'm talking about maybe, SKD, yes, thank God for the Chinese and they build that place for us. It's okay. But I'm talking about a basketball gymnasium
owned by the Basketball Association.
Owned by the Liberia Basketball Association, where at least 1,000 people can go to watch basketball. A modern gymnasium. Liberia does not have a single one.
Because, Trojan, I think the reason is simple. The reason is simple because
and we're talking about support to sports.
Yeah, because the guys who run the Basketball Association, they're not innovative. They are not innovative. That's why I just said you took the league from Central Town to Painesville. Good. People in Painesville should have the opportunity to watch basketball. But those who are in Central Town, other areas, how do they know you're not investing into media and publicity? Do you know who is the media manager or media director of the Liberia Basketball Association? We are activating into sports. We don't know. So how do you? I think the guys need to be serious about in this country. It's not because people just want to play basketball. We need to take these sports as business.
Growing up in Liberia, you want to go to watch a basketball game every weekend. You want to go and see. You know, at the time I was in Logan Town growing up, and you had some of the big players, Bakita, or you call him Williams, Bakita Williams, Eric Patton, you know, all of those guys from Logan Town, Eric Cooper, all of those guys from Logan Town, they play for all this. You want to go for just because those guys were coming from Logan Town, the entire Logan Town left to go and cheer LPRC Oilers. It came out town now, it was Bushra Bulls. It is Bushra Bulls in fight. All of us, because I saw Bushra Bulls in the making, the first set of players who came from Bushra Bulls that played in the league. We practice when I'm not going to play basketball, football. We practice with Bushra Bull, my little basketball skills. I learned.
Do you play basketball?
Yeah, I do. So no,
don't depend on your height.
No, I'm saying it, and I'm on national TV. People who know me from Logan Town will tell you. The Bean Court. There was a place there called Bean Court. That's where Bushra Bull was birthed. We used to go practice basketball there. All right. So I'm telling you that you know. People were crazy about basketball then, but coming now, I mean, it has died so much that we don't know why. But we're promising you, we'll bring the basketball folks here this week. They're going to be here to tell their own story. What's happening, you need to know. But we
so
let's go very short.
Let's go to. Before we take a break, let's go to Muta Toure. We have to balance it. Let's go to Muta Toure of LPRC Oilers on his side victory.
The first and foremost thing here is everybody consider us as the underdog. Before the game, they thought they were going to win about 40 points. So we leave that aside and we keep to play basketball, not just basketball.
I will just keep it and take this very short break to be right back.
Before the game, they thought they were going to win about 40 points. So we leave that aside and we keep to play basketball, not just basketball. We are a very good team, both offensively and defensively. So we are not a team like to be overlooked.
Okay.
The first thing here is everybody consider us as the underdog. Before the game, they thought they were going to win about 40 points. So we leave that aside and we keep to play basketball, not just basketball. We are a very good team, both offensively and defensively. So we are not a team like to be overlooked. We're one of the best teams in Liberia, and we have won so many championships. Reason being, you and I know that I spent 16 years on LPRC team, and 90% of the team are all new players and players that are from the lower league. Like I got kids on the team that are from the second league, and we are doing extremely well. We are rebuilding our team. The first thing I want to tell you guys that no team should overlook us. We can beat anybody in the league. People consider Barrow to be one of the biggest teams. They won up by 4 points, and it was not even convincing.
It was not convincing. Let's talk about your next plan moving forward.
The only thing we have to do is come and play basketball, play defense, and the basket will come. The biggest thing is to put the ball in there to play basketball.
What did you discover from August today?
Cesar Mongo, bro, I'm not going to discredit Cesar Mongo because they got so many great players. They are a great team. The only thing I have to say, anybody who play against one of the second division or the least team in the league will come strong to win. We are basketball and we come here to play basketball. But we are not struggling. That school is not struggling school. That school is not struggling school. We won a team that have the MVP from last season on their team. So that school is not a struggling school. We are one of the biggest teams in the league. But the first and foremost thing here is everybody consider us as the underdog. Before the game, they thought they were going to win about 40 points. So we leave that aside and we keep to play basketball, not just basketball. We are a very good team, both offensively and defensively. So we are not a team like to be overlooked. We're one of the best teams in Liberia, and we have won so many championships. Reason being, you and I know that I spent 16 years on LPRC team, and 90% of the team are all new players and players that are from the lower league. Like I got kids on the team that
All right, so no team can be overlooked. The captain there to read of the Oilers basketball team. You listen to them like we promised you. We will bring the basketball folks here so we can hear from them as well. What is their story? Okay, but tonight it is the football people, in fact, the football president of Liberia, who will be telling us his story. That is what's happening with football in our country. And so let's now welcome the president of Liberian football, that's the Liberia Football Association, Mustafa Raji, once more to our Intel studio. Good evening, Mr. President. Welcome.
Well, good evening, Trojan. Good evening, Chris, and to the public. It's a pleasure to be here and excited to discuss in our country and the state of affairs at the Football Association.
Okay, let's begin step by step. The first point we want to begin with is the just concluded Congress, Extraordinary Congress, which was held on last Saturday to purposely, one of the main things there was to pass the budget. Before the Congress, you received communications from various clubs who demanded or were requesting, if you may, that the subventions be increased, or else they weren't going to vote for the passage of the budget. You needed to make that guaranteed, that promise to them that you're going to give them more money or increase the subventions, or else they were going to vote against the budget. Of course, they went there, and at the end of the budget was passed with 25 clubs voting, but 13 of the clubs voted against the passage of the budget. Did that in any way get to you as clubs maybe not understanding or not thinking that you're not running football the right way, you're not caring about them, they want money and you're refusing to give to them with what the vote from their votes?
Thanks, Trojan. First, just to correct you, I don't believe it was a demand from the clubs. The only communication I received, because there was a communication sent to the LFA, signed by a few club presidents and the media officer, and the caption of that letter stated that they were owners and presidents of clubs. Unfortunately, some of the were not presidents recognized by the Football Association. A media officer signed the communication, the instrument. And I traveled. Unfortunately, the date requested for the meeting, I think, was on the Thursday or Friday. The clubs did not, follow up with the LFA. And I was told a second communication was sent, but the acting president said he didn't find or see that communication. Money, yes, FIFA is giving us support, Trojan, but unfortunately, if the money isn't there, we cannot make magic. We cannot make water out of wine. If you followed, we introduced the payment of subvention to clubs from 2019, ranging from 3,937, growing up to 4,200, and then 5,000, now 6,000. Key about it is that it was all about democracy. Some of those who believe that they didn't need to pass the budget because we did not have the money to add on to the subvention. But mind you, it's not just the first, second, and women's club who are members of the Football Association we are responsible for. The LF is responsible to develop football in and out of Liberia. Today, the number of women's teams are increasing. You have women's football now playing in Lofa, Nimba County, Grand Jida County, Maryland, River G County. Those teams also deserve the rights, to grow up or get support, financial support. The number is huge, so the FA is not giving them money, but we need to purchase equipment and give them some other subsidy to strengthen them. The third division, fourth division, we're looking at over 500 clubs in the country. And you saw that the representative Congress of the third and fourth division, they were also asking for contribution and reduction in the subvention of the existing club. So it's a complicated situation. And our responsibility first is to see how we can manage the situation, because we receiving funding from FIFA is based on specific criteria. Unfortunately, this year, the budget will be short minimum 150,000, and that's some of the points that the stakeholders.
Why would there be a shortage of the budget?
Well, the funding that comes from FIFA, total $1,250,000 United States dollars. It comes in two phases. $650,000 US dollars come to the LFA without any condition. Now, out of that 650,000, we have the COVID loan that we took to complete the LFA headquarters. That was approved by FIFA, non-interest loan. So FIFA do the annual deduction of 75,000 from that amount. So 75,000 from 650,000, you know the difference. I think around 570,000 or so. Out of this 570,000, the intent of this amount, if you reference the FIFA for all regulations, you can find it on FIFA.com on the website. The FIFA for all 3.0 regulations is clearly stated that this is for the operations of the LFA, the operational costs, to cover the salaries, to cover the operations of the LFA, leagues, competitions, payments of indemnities of referees, for trainings and etc. So looking at the annual wage bill current with the LFA without even adding the additional employees, we're talking about almost $262,000 per annum. And if you add this amount to the subvention we're giving 42 clubs, $6,000 each is around $252,000. It tells you you're already in deficit. Now, if FIFA, in terms of the difference, 600,000, that is the conditional payments for 11 criteria. Unfortunately, we are not running a U17 women's league in the country, so you cannot get 50,000. We are not running a U15 leagues in the country, women's league, so you cannot get another 150,000. We do not participate in competitions to achieve the requirements for 4 international matches, so you do not get that 50,000. So it's around 150,000 minimum that we deducted from us. So if you have that deduction, and what we think and thought as an executive committee is, first of all, taking note that under a normal circumstance, we were providing 6,000. Now we have to even buckle up to ensure that we maintain the amount, go around other areas and do a necessary cost to ensure that we provide our stakeholders the 6,000 that we've committed, taking into consideration that we're losing $150 US minimum through the FIFA Forward program.
Mr. President, you talk about this loan that you are to pay back to FIFA, and you said 75,000 per annum.
Yes.
How long will it take for you to pay this?
It's a 4 years period loan. The loan is, I think, around 4 years. So we've paid like 2 payments. There's the third, I think, the third payment, if I'm not mistaken, and next year will be the final payment.
Were this something the FA, the clubs agree, and stakeholders or executive committee agree that we'll take this loan because we want to complete the headquarters? Because this has been one of the most critical things. Stakeholders who feel this loan was illegal.
Well, there are a few things. If you are ignorant of the regulations, ignorant of the procedures that took place, I mean, one see a lot of different things, speed up a lot of wrong information in the press. I would have thought that members of the press, I mean, members of SWA or other club presidents who pick up the FIFA 4 regulations 3.0, look at the 2.0 regulations and the COVID regulations, and caption from it what FIFA approved in terms of the procedure to take non-interest loan and the purpose of those loans. The second aspect is to see if it was legal or not legal, meaning did it meet the executive committee approval, meaning did we go through all of the procedure? And I do not know if you recall, during the ordinary Congress that took place a few weeks ago, the auditors confirmed that yes, indeed, they checked the loan, the validity of the loan, and every document was correct. They contacted FIFA. FIFA responded and told the loan was yes, taken and approved contacted the bank, contacted the contractor. What more do you expect to hear? Unfortunately, when we're traveling to Bangkok for the FIFA Congress, we took along a club president, who was the vice president of CIPA, the Club President Association of Liberia. And that discussion was brought to the table because I did it intentionally. So the president of a club who understand better from the mouth of FIFA in terms of this loan. So for those people who are out there crying wolf about the loan, I mean, it's an open challenge to them. Do not just come on the radio and talk and spew our garbage, and write to FIFA and challenge it. I mean, I'm here. I mean, if people were penalized or sanctioned for 1,500 Ebola funds, why not about 319,000 loan I was taken from FIFA to complete the LFA headquarters? If the loan was, why can't they write to FIFA to complain and challenge the process? And this is an open challenge to each and everyone who claim that the loan was illegal. This is a challenge to them. I'm challenging them publicly to write to FIFA and request all of the information relative to the loan. If they're still not convinced in terms of the output of the auditors that they chaired when they came up with their opinion relative to the LFA books.
Okay, do you think the clubs, 1 minute, children, because I know going bit by bit, this issue of the clubs wanting more subvention, sponsorship, do you think as a former club owner, or you rent club in this country and you still spending money on your club, do you think clubs still need money from the FA more than what the FA is giving?
Yes, indeed. If it is available, why not? I mean, that is if it is available. We are trying as we've been in football over 25 years. Bulk of the period, we're not getting money from the LFA. So this batch of clubs and club presidents are fortunate that they are getting money from the Football Association. I mean, if you followed in the past, there were sponsorship inexistent at the LFA. Clubs are not getting the money. They won the championship, they didn't get the money. We came and cleared all of those debts. So it tells you in terms of the progress we've made so far, and we have to be very careful and cautious. Budget, I mean, is a projection, and we just do not want to place figure within the budget that will not be able to provide. I mean, once we see or identify areas of generating more revenue, we certainly want to give to our clubs. Now, a key part is U15 leagues, U12 leagues, the third division, fourth division, they're also important. It's not just about the top league, the first, second, and league. In other places, you use the top leagues to generate revenue and then give share of those revenues to the lower league. Unfortunately, looking at the country today and where we find ourselves, the stadiums are not full in terms of matches that will be played because bulk of the clubs are also facing challenges in terms of bringing fans to the stadium. But bulk of the activities that take place around, for example, today you hear that CAF is giving subvention to members association. CAF is giving subvention to members association because we are organizing these big tournaments, the African Cup of Nations, and the profits from there we share with the members. So unfortunately, in our case as a football association, the clubs should draw people to the stadiums. They need to also market and brand the clubs and make it interesting for people to come and watch the games. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not coming to the game, so it makes it a little bit difficult that we can have share revenue paid down to all the lower clubs. In the end, we will then have to look at FIFA subvention, looking at CAF subvention to, give some portion of it to the lower clubs. And we unfortunately cannot give to them in cash. We have to give them in terms of materials because, I mean, looking at over 500 clubs, you cannot give them $6,000 each. We do not have that funding. And we are hoping also that national government will take key attention and at least give a minimum of 300,000 that we can provide to these clubs, because the clubs are actually providing developing players, not just for their teams, but for national teams, for the county meet. So we believe it's important that the Ministry of Youth and Sports, government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, look at the direction of the clubs. And today, football, is the number one priority sports in Liberia. Look at the county meet. With our football, that stadium will be full. So mean, with what we are doing, developing players, developing coaches, developing referees, it is important that national government also come in, join hands with us. If it cannot be direct budget support from through the government, I mean, they need to get involved, bring sponsors on board that can invest not just into football, but into sports, provide some sponsorship of sports. It's getting difficult by the day for our clubs, and that's the reason why we feel it's important. We provide subvention and intervene with other companies to see if they can give us more support.
Now, we will come to government support because I specifically want to know certain things about the government support relative to the preparation of our various national teams. We'll come to that. But let's know what is the situation right now with the headquarters and the contractors. We understand there was some problem with the building. Parts of it was leaking. Some things were not placed there properly, or some things were not even placed. At one point, the company was suing you because the FA now, because you were indebted to them. And of course, so what is the situation with the building and the contractors?
Well, I don't agree to say that we're indebted to them. We're not indebted to them. There's a contract. We raised an issue and objected to a couple of things that resulted into us going to court. And I mean, last time I was here, I asked Chris, who also worked for Front Page Africa, to go and do an investigation, go to the building, grab the BOQ, check the BOQ, match the items delivered versus what is in the BOQ, if it is correct, and then come to the general public and provide that information. The case was, I think, taken out of court for us to go to arbitration. I mean, if we are not okay, I believe we'll go back to court. So that's where we are. And we are standing our grounds that we cannot release any payment to the contractor until they address the issues in terms of the missing items not placed at the headquarters, and to also fix the defects, because it's our responsibility to work in the interest of the federation, and those documentations are there for anyone to come and pick up to review, and you see the evidence by yourself. So I'm hoping.
I personally saw the tires.
I mean, what you are saying, you are saying it now, but what we want you people to do is do a full caption of it as journalists and show it to the public, and let the public be the judge to say whether or not we should accept and commission that final payment should be made to the contractor. On that basis, as president who represent the Football Association, we cannot sanction or write FIFA to approve. The money is not with the LFA, the money is with FIFA. Our responsibility is a final notice to FIFA that the contractor has finalized, concluded in full before the payment can be released. Unfortunately, it has not been done by the contractor.
Are they demanding that they cannot place what you said should be there and they put on the paper? Are they demanding that they will not put it there and should only give the money?
Well, I really don't want to go so much in it because it's in court, but there are issues raised, and I've pointed. I would love that Front Page Africa, any journalist can go to the Football Association, do an assessment of the BOQ or in the drawing, and then you understand by yourself whether or not what we are doing in terms of the LFAs right now.
Okay. What do you make of third division clubs? Their own demand or proposal during the extraordinary Congress? One may say they are demanding 50% of the club's subvention, while are saying they want increment. But my thing is, what do you make of their proposal that they need support, because they feel the clubs, the first, second division clubs will play us, because when there's no grassroots, there's no third division, you don't have a strong second and first division team. What do you make of the demand?
So there must be a balance. In reality, it is fair. When I say fair, they are appealing. I mean, they have the right to ask. You cannot tell someone how they ask the Football Association. So they are making a proposal to reduce the subvention of the clubs by 50%. That means the first, second women's division. And the reason is that it is just 42 clubs compared to over 500 clubs. But unfortunately, if that amount is reduced and even distributed among the 500 clubs, maybe bulk of the club will get a minimum or $75 each. What we're also looking at is the other clubs in terms of those who are members who vote at Congress is also asking for an increase, while the third division clubs are asking for a decrease because they feel abandoned. But Chris, we started a process, and that's why we've and the third and fourth division clubs understand well. We started a process from a level where the third division club got nothing, and we introduced technical support, providing them footballs, providing them training equipments, reducing the cost, canceling registration fees, meaning you are getting money back. You're no longer paying money to the LFA to participate in the league. Clubs were paying $17,500. That was canceled for all of the clubs, third and fourth division clubs in the country. We also cancel other component that will result into expenses by clubs. The payment for free agent certificates, for example. We also send back to them that, okay, after you transfer players, the club get 100% of the amount. The LFL is not getting no share, the player share. So these are all strategies to put more money back to the clubs. When you market a player, no longer do you give the LFA money, you take all of the money 100%. We reduce the cost, yellow and on red and yellow cards, just to also relieve them of additional expenses. And it's gradual. So looking at the payments to the other clubs, you know, there's a bigger league. They spend a lot. I'm not saying the third division and fourth division don't spend a lot, but they spend more. They are like the face of the competition. And that's the reason why we introduced the subvention to help relieve them of some of the burden. And that subvention is intended for the salary to serve as subsidy for players and the coaches' salary. Now, on the other part, in the third and fourth division is an amateur league. They don't sign contracts with the players. Yes, some of them are paying tuition of the players, paying accommodation whatsoever. But on the level of the first, second division and women's football, they spend a lot to pay the accommodation of some of the players. They also pay tuition for the players, and they pay salaries based on the level of the player, whether it's an amateur on a contract, professional contract, pay signature fees, and etc. But we believe that, okay, the quest is legitimate from the third, fourth division, the quest from the upper women's team, the second division team, first division team, legitimate, that look, we need an increase, but unfortunately, if it's not available, we cannot go and take it from anywhere when it's not available.
Okay. Now, Mr. President, let's talk about the issue of, we're watching one of them, the under 20 team is playing against Djibouti in the semi-final of Guinea-Bissau, sorry, in the semi-final of WAFU Zone A competition in Senegal. The under 17 team, of course, is also preparing to take on Nigeria. So we are hearing that the under 17 male team are also in preparation for a competition which you will tell us about. So is the under 20 team and the senior national team. I was asking the other day and somebody said this is the first time, of course, all of the national teams are into some kind of action. But let's look at the preparations, because we were just talking about the girls, the under 20 girls refusing $100 as per dime in fees. That's Senegal. So what is the level of preparations for all of these teams that are either now participating or preparing to go and participate in various competitions?
Well, Trojan is a difficult one. A platform we promise football development. In the section of football development, we have infrastructure, we have the technical part. You have the national team. The national teams. One will say, or many have been asking, we don't see the national teams playing. The programs are there in place. So let me first drill you through the programs we have. Mm-hmm. We have from the U15 that we call the TDS, Talent Development Scheme, to build the best cream of players and take them to the National Academy at the George Manamia Technical Center. The cream will be selected out of these players and placed there for 2 years to transition into under 17. Now, it requires money because when no players are at the center, you need to feed them 3 times a day. You need tutors to be there. You need to employ doctors. You need to have vehicles that take them to school. You need to pay the tuition. The Football Association don't have the budget to just do it all. But we have set the business. We've put the plan into place. We brought in Mr. Wisa from the U.S., Dogo Wisa, former player, to drive this along with his team. former national team goalkeeper Nathaniel Sherman, who's the coordinator of the TDS program. And now we've been assisted by Christopher Rare, a former Arsenal and national team player, and Dominic Savis, and the rest of the guys to run the TDS program at the technical center. It requires a lot of money. We've been, moving in with short-term processes. We also have the under-17 team in preparation for the under-17 qualifiers in Senegal, the boys. That team will be headed by Rabah Latte, ready to commence training in July for the tournament in Senegal. And then we have the under-20 headed by Kevin Segwe. We saw the under-20 play against Sierra Leone.
But Kevin said you don't have a contract with the under-20. The contract expired.
No,
you are just there to play the games.
Okay, so what we've done as the Football Association, take into consideration that, look, it's also a huge burden for government. It must be real. Government cannot do it all. So we, as the Football Association, have taken bulk of the responsibility in terms of arranging the trainings and costs, because it was like a tax-based contract provider, Kelvin. He still will be the coach. We are still going to move with him for the under-20, because we see from under-15, under-17, under-20, and then senior national team. And there's the process that we have in terms of the pathway. If you also look at the under-17 girls today, you see the under-17 girls playing. We eliminated Senegal. Under-20 girls now playing against Guinea-Bissau. And the senior national team girls also play in the qualifiers, were eliminated by Cape Verde. You saw they play home and away. We brought a foreign coach to support all of these initiatives. Now, so far, for the women's program, LFA has been doing it 100% with no support from national governments. To develop football. Liberia want us to build new breed of players. We have the programs in place as the Football Association. We are trying as much as possible from our FIFA forward funds to push into development areas for the girls. We cannot do it all because the property of the national teams is for the government. And at some point, the government need to come in. The match we play against, for example, Senegal, up to present, we made a request. I'm positive that the government will give some money, because we put in for that a period ago, I think it's around 81,000 for the home and away match. So we're still looking up to government to provide that funding to cover all other expenses that we made as a Football Association, because we had to do cuts from different areas to ensure and give opportunity to girls to play. And they are currently in camp at the George Malawi Technical Center, preparing for Nigeria. Another budget that to the national government to support. And I mean, same with the under-20. The under-20, yes, you said they rejected $100 in Liberia, I mean, as compensation from the LFA. Trojan, I mean, as a father, if you don't have so much and you have maybe $1 in your pocket and you have like 4 kids, you need to give them quarter each. And they won't feel happy if they are going to school and maybe lunch costs maybe $1 and you are giving them a quarter. I mean, it's a bit demeaning to them, demotivating to the players, because they're in Senegal. Other teams who are defeated, I mean, players receive the bonus before arriving there. And unfortunately for us, the situation is a bit different, that the girls are not getting support. And I think it's important that we also focus on the girls. They have rights. They are citizens of Liberia. They deserve the same rights that the male have. And I'm confident government will come in. The Minister of Youth and Sports has been working very hard with the deputy ministers, working along with us, with the team and Ministry of Finance, exploring to see how they can provide some support. And you know, some others started, and special thanks to Representative Mensah from Bond County. I mean, she was like, you know what, this is unacceptable. I do not have money now, and the girls are on camp, but I'm going to start first with the first challenge of $200. And she said that rest assured, before the end of the month, she's going to put in more, because women's football is the key. And as a woman, she feels for the girls. They are her daughters. And she was one of the first person to come and, you know, step in. And I'm hoping that other lawmakers will join hands and follow, I mean, the path of Madam Mensah, because it cannot just be, I mean, the only responsibility of national government. We love for citizens to come up, you know, support, go in the field to support the girls. Nigeria is not a small team. They have huge financial support. A lot of And the best thing we can do to, keep the spirit amongst our girls, keep motivating them, to strengthen them, is to, now pay more focus and invest in them.
You're right when you say probably government cannot do it all alone. In fact, the chief patron of sports, President Joseph Boakai, set up a Lone Star Mobilization Committee, and now that all of the teams are in action, have you heard from them? Have they maybe come up to you and say, "Oh, Mr. President, we are holding this rally or taking this other action," so that we've been hearing that all of our national teams at every level is preparing or participating in some competition. So this is a time for the mobilization committee to work, and not only just wait. Probably want to hear the senior national team is playing tomorrow, then they get out there. Probably have they reached out to you, or have you reached out to them? How is it like?
Well, I'm not too sure that committee is in possession of the mandate or the letter. I'm not too sure, because those are on that committee. I know that they are hard worker, Mr. Thomas Floyd and Mr. Christopher Hayes Onanuga. I'm sure they're still awaiting the final letter from His Excellency, the Chief Patron of Sports, to move on. Yes, it's not just about the senior national team, but we still also have problems with the senior national team. We all yearn to move to the next stage of the after.
And you heard even the coach, Mario Marinica, and his staff, they've not been paid.
Yeah, so like I told you, it's not just about the youth teams. We have the situation with all of the teams. Liberians are calling. We've been crying and calling on to have a local-based national team. We brought in a team of coaches, experienced coaches, to help build local-based players that will be less cheaper for us. And and for we saw that bulk of the players who qualify us for the AFCON 2025 zonal rounds in terms of the qualifiers were mostly local-based players. Now, it's not encouraging that we brought the coaches. It's not just the salaries. The coaches have not been paid. The Minister of Sports has been working. We've been engaging other partners to see if they can get the 3 months salary. But unfortunately, even the accommodation has not been settled. The Football Association has been struggling with the accommodation of the 4 coaches. We are still indebted to hotels, Colony Hotel, RLJ, for the match we play against Djibouti. The local travel agencies.
How much are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about almost 172,000. And children, we've also, at some point when you credit and your record becomes bad, those who decide to credit will no longer have the confidence or will have the comfort to credit you. Today, we are still indebted to one of the colleagues, the agency that assisted us with accommodation in Morocco. We haven't paid them. And Liberia is going back to Morocco to play against Sao Tome. And if we don't have the budget, the funding release for the teams, how do we manage? So, what I can say is that the team should leave July 31st and May 31st. If the funding is not provided, the national team will not leave. That's the sad part, because the LFA do not have money, and those who usually credit us as the travel agency are no longer in a position or interested in giving us more credit.
Mr. President, you just manage the national team, the owners of the national team. Do you, before going to this competition or signing up, tell them what it entails, that you want to go to competition, that they are still reneging on their own responsibility?
Oh, yes. Last year, what we did was to communicate to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, all of the national teams, because our responsibility is to develop the programs and have the national teams running. So we submitted that communication to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And when the new leadership took over, we thought it was important to sit around the table and we again ask those questions. Is the ministry and government okay that we have all of the team participating in the competition? If not, they should let us know, and we could come up with a different kind of solution to withdraw some of the team. Yes, withdrawing the team will be, with some sanctions, but we were told that we should proceed. So this is where we are, and this is where we find ourselves. In that meeting, I was present in that meeting. president, our third vice president, minister of sports, the deputy ministers were all in that meeting. So we are looking up to the owners of the national team to address it. Howbeit, wherever we, as the Football Association, can intervene to address some of the challenges, we will certainly do like we've been doing over the past. And I mean, evidenced by the team being on at the technical center is the LFA, who is catering to that at the technical center. The girls play in Guinea-Bissau. We are catering to that with the hope that the national government will be able to pay back the monies that we spend to cover the expenses. If it doesn't happen, I mean, in the end, is going to keep pushing the LFA level, and that's the reason why now I've said, I mean, if the funding is not released for the senior men's national team, the team won't travel to South Africa because we do not have money and we don't have the credit facility in South Africa, because going to South Africa, you need to pay for the accommodation and feeding of the team. And taking into consideration the records we currently have with the company that assists us, I don't think it's going to work any longer.
Okay, now, Mr. President, let's talk about this issue of, we just talked about the national team. I'm sorry, I got distracted a bit. But what is it that, of course, you as the FA will need, talking about government? Can you face the government, probably tell them, look, other countries, they're developing football with the assistance of their governments, their various governments. We checked, and if you see the budgets of other countries, of course, you will see millions of dollars, maybe for Ghana, 12 million for other countries. You will see almost like 50 million thereabout. But we do have a small economy, a lot of problems. But is there a possibility where you can have a sit down with the government, with the lawmakers, so that when the budget has been prepared, we see there usually 500,000 thereabout. But is it possible that you tell them maybe you need $1 million, 1.5 million thereabout for support to football or something for sports? How do you think you and the government can work together? Because I listened to Musepi, the CAF president, talking about government coming in to work with the FA to build infrastructure in order to develop football. Now, how are you working with the government to ensure that at least they gave you more money? Clubs are crying, they need money. Well, they are doing business, they're paying taxes as well to government. What benefit are they getting from their government when it comes to football?
Well, Trojan, I mean, when you say government, we are working with the government. Our direct line ministry is the Ministry of Youth and Sports. All of what we've been discussing with the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The Ministry of Youth and Sports are having in its possession a budget that we presented for our activities this year for national teams in a tune of $4.5 million. So we have not been invited to the house to go and present our budget. We don't participate in it. I mean, we would love that, to join hands with the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and not just the LFA of football, all sporting federation. Mind you, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is not just the Ministry of Football, like the minister usually say. They have other disciplines that they need to cater to. So it's also dependent on negotiations that take place at the Ministry of Finance, because I'm sure they do the allotments in the budget. So if the Ministry of Finance decide that they cannot give the Ministry of Youth and Sports $2 million, or if they are providing $1 million for all of the 34 sports in the country, national teams, it is just telling us, Trojan, that we are not interested in developing football. I mean, it will look like Christopher Walker, who is, I believe, coming from Newtown, love his palm butter, leave $150 Liberian home for a wife to create cook palm butter with rice and everything. I mean, you just come and meet nothing home.
Okay. We need to take this break. When we return, we continue with the president of the Liberia Football Association on this discussion. We are taking this break. To be right back. Welcome back to the program Sports Talk on Intel Sports. And we have us today the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustafa Araji, as our guest on the edition of the program. He has been talking lots about Liberian football, our national team, and whatsoever. Mr. President, we have seen out of, one may say, your impact in football when it comes to infrastructure, the league, awards given, changing of awards. People want to play for the award for the best defender because they know what they get at the end of the day. But as a president, you are a second term. If the national team do not qualify for big competition, do not make name, won't say you are a failure. What's your thinking? What do you hope to achieve with the national team? Because the national team is one everyone look at when it comes to football development.
Okay, thank you, Chris. So before I answer this question, I would love you to just answer mine. If you leave $150 Liberian dollars at home, and the women are listening out there, $150 Liberian dollars at home, and you want to eat palm butter soup, and they should provide rice and everything in it, do you think it's going to be possible?
Palm butter is palm butter. If you don't put,
do you think it's going to be possible?
If you put kiss me
your
in
wife
it,
is listening.
if you put kiss me in it, it's palm butter.
So is it possible to cook a food, a meal, $150 Liberian dollars with rice, everything, purchasing the firewood and everything to feed a home?
Is it not possible?
Is it possible?
It is impossible.
So good. So now, if it is impossible, today we are talking about achieving and reaching our goals. If there are factors that affect us achieving our goals, why we want to hold me responsible? Today we are here seated and talking about the national team coaches not being paid for over 3 months. Today we are here seated talking about our under 20 national team that we've invested in and pushed to Senegal. No motivation, no money to give them, but they are playing, defending red, white, and blue. They are not flying the flag of another country. Today we are here seated talking about under 17 girls that will also develop. They've advanced to the next round. When they defeat Nigeria, we're going to the World Cup. Red, white, and blue is going to be Liberia. They still don't have support. Senior national team, I'm telling you, we qualified the team for the zonal stage of the 2025 AFCON qualifiers. 172,000 has not been paid since. They're indebted to hotels, indebted to the travel agency. The team has not been training regularly. The coach stated that the team needs around 80 hours of training. That is something that the coach has put out there, that Liberians should not expect so much, because missing 80 hours of training is another thing. Up till now, we had to arrange for the team to go to camp. We receive, at the measure of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, $5,000 US to help with the training. The players go to training, they need to eat and etc. So if you want to say that, okay, the team was qualified and without support, come on, you don't have motivation, no bonuses and other things. So there are factors that pave way and give you much more opportunity or closeness to success. It doesn't mean that if you get all of the money, you're going to win the World Cup, okay? But at least it pushes you to a level where you see good performance. You see that players are developing, players are going to play in higher leagues comparing into Asia and other places. So we all need to work together. You as journalists need to work. We all need to encourage other companies to join hands. Like I continue to say, the government has a lot of responsibility. Today, people are talking about fixing of roads. Today, people are talking about building schools. Today, people are talking about the health sector. People are talking about increment of salaries in the government agency. And more or less, there was just a transition of recent. So I'm not here to just speak that, okay, everything will be possible. I believe there are some challenges that the government is facing. And over the period, they will certainly address, if not all of the issues, some of the issues. But mind you, when you hear us speak as a football association that, yes, government is supporting the national team, and you must understand that if we don't receive the money now and receive the money after 2 days, 1 day to departure, and you question if the government supports the national team, what do you expect me to say?
Mr. President, let's look at infrastructure development, because in football development, it also comes with infrastructure as well. You started off under your administration refurbishing and building new turf and all of that. We've seen the Tusa field refurbished. It's now modern. All of those other places, we're now watching football being played. But we're also promised that other turfs were going to be redeveloped, talking about in various counties like Nimba and other places you care to mention. Where are we with new turfs being constructed?
Well, you saw that we changed the blue field, the turf at the blue field.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're seeing under 10, programs running by our technical director. Under 12, they are playing at the blue field. We have 2 pitches that will be in Nima counties. One is Sanukule, the Thomas said floor pitch, and that of Gompa. The Gompa project approved, finalized, FIFA released the first payments to the contractor. The contractor shipped material. They came down to start the project, but because of the rain, they decided to postpone and recommence the work in October this year. We also have now the Willie D. Knuckles pitch that will be coming, also FIFA project.
That's in Painesville.
In Painesville. And then government also provided us the approval. Now we're finalizing the document for the pitch there in Brazil, the alligator pitch around the conference center. Mm-hmm. The Ministry of State agreed to provide that facility to us to turf. And the executive committee of the Liberia Football Association has approved, and that's the reason why we are excited to move forward with the document FIFA. The Saudi Football Federation, through our partnership, has purchased a turf for us, and that turf should be installed at the Stephen Tower Estate pitch. All depends when the authorities of Stephen Tower will turn the facility over to us. If there's prolonged delay, we will transfer the turf to the Jacobtown pitch. We also are waiting the Moroccans to provide the turf for the ATS, where we visited Morocco a couple of weeks ago along with the Minister of Sports. He participated in that discussion, and the project was on course until Morocco was hit by the earthquake. But now we are waiting them because they found a contractor, and we will soon start the project at the ATS.
Mr. President, there's this issue I want to also talk about. FIFA batch Reverend, retired FIFA batch Reverend George Roger, and Sano, some huge allegation against the director or the manager of referees at the Liberia Football Association. Up to now, we don't see anything from the LFA when it comes to investigation. You have someone, we always talk about this issue of match facing, where he said referees go to game with direct minute from standing corner to fixed match in favor of one team. The LFA, this is a huge allegation. What are you saying about it?
Well, again, it's the opinion of the referee. I'm not a referee, not in the referee corps. But what I'm aware of is that there's a complaint before the disciplinary committee of the Liberia Football Association in relation to that allegation. I think Mr. Kona complained. And it's also important that you as journalists question those who raise the issue, because if coming out with such a thing, that means there are referees that they are aware of. Why not name some of the referees who have been given those assignments to come up? Because it's something that is grave. And once it is identified, those referees will be sanctioned. I can assure you that if Mr. Kona is investigated and found guilty of engaging in such acts, and those other referees are identified by Mr. Rogers and Sano, they will be penalized. However, you know there are consequences. If the disciplinary committee find out that, the information provided was wrong, they will also take disciplinary action against those individuals.
Match fixing at the end of our league, we always see games being played, one team scoring over 10 goals. And
did you see that this season?
At the end of this season, even though teams were not scoring 10 goals, but the way the table in the bottom and whatsoever, there are people who are still saying something resemble match fixing.
So
how can we solve these issues in the country?
So match fixing is a very complicated issue to solve. Looking at you need investigators. You launch these cases sometimes last 4, 5, 6, 7. You saw the Juventus case. They didn't just take place over. They didn't just come out with a ruling after 2, 3, 4 days. It takes a long time going through investigation, reviewing, and to fix a match, like you're saying today, pointing to referees. There are other individuals we are talking about the table training. I'm not aware of those individuals, but there are club owners who own clubs that you also need to ask what is happening, and we all need to work together. And that's the reason why at the Congress I spoke about against match manipulation, match fixing, because it's not good for our football. When we introduce that into our games, it makes it bad. Players, doing a lot of different things along with officials. We will continue to investigate, and someday someone will be caught, and when they are caught, certainly it will be banned from all activities of football in the country.
You have anti-doping workshop in this country. We haven't seen a player being tested for anti-doping, whether positive or negative. When do we? Because there are substances players taking.
So the first thing you have to do is to start. So we started the process, launching the workshop so that people be aware of the banned substances, things that are not acceptable in the sports. And we will move to the next step. Dr. Clarence Yaxi was the medical manager of the LFA, is working along with the committee to ensure that we have the anti-doping station in Liberia. It's not something that's cheap. It's very expensive because you cannot just take the samples of the players here. You need to take the samples and send it out of the country by DHL. So it takes a lot. It's not something that's just happening overnight. It's something that we're trying to set up. It's going to take time. And that's what we started first with the workshop, so people start getting aware. One key issue people spoke about was this issue of the shisha or so, and to discourage our players from taking it. They have other drugs. You heard me talk about there should be no drugs in sports, a war against drugs, because the players start to take these substances, to be fit or to give them more energy, and it's wrong.
Okay, so we are almost out of time, but let me ask you this question just before we go. Football development, of course, comes in various spheres. Various sectors of football need to be developed all together in order for football to be developed. It's just not on the pitch. You have coaches, you have the medical people, you have the referees, of course, and the administrative side as well. So tell us, how is your administration working to sort of in line? You talked about the under 10, talked about the under 12, under 15, 17, 20, the senior national team. But how are you working to also develop those other sectors? Because everything will have to come up together in order to be successful.
Well, we are on course, Trojan. We started the Football Association. There were only 3 instructors in Liberia. Today, we have more than 10 instructors, coaches, instructors. Through our works, we've developed and now produced more instructors. We have minimum number of coaches, no coaching convention. Now we signed a coaching convention. We have a curriculum for coaching. Others are coming from outside Liberia to participate in our courses. As I speak, we just concluded a D course in Bomi County. We completed another one in Monserrado County. Another completed in Grand Jida County. The last one is currently ongoing in Maryland County. As promised to our stakeholders and citizens of the country, we want to develop over and up to 500 coaches before the end of our mandate, from the level of D, B, C, and A. And in order to do that, thanks to FIFA through the FIFA Forward program, under the project funding, we are able to support this drive of developing quality coaches. We are now awaiting the A diploma course to be launched, and they will be headed by a CAF elite instructor who is currently the senior national team coach or women's coach, Saline. She will head the A course in Liberia. We also have series of B courses that will come, and then C diploma courses that will also be held. It's all geared towards developing our players, better players, come on new training techniques and methods to make our players better and our team play well. We also have referee development courses upcoming to train more referees, to develop them from grassroots to the elite referees. Councillor Somo Ezeda-Wesley, our Match Commissioner General, will be launching very soon the training of match commissioners. So we are moving in all directions to ensure that, yes, we are on course until the end of our mandate. The competition team will be traveling over to the 15 counties to conduct the FIFA Connect training, the digital system of registration all over the 15 counties. Our teams will be all spread all over, beginning next, I think this Friday, they'll be leaving from office to go around to teach each and every one of the third division to register the players in the system. We're hoping that we can have the national identification system working, because it's one key requirement that we're using to register the players in the system. We want, before the end of 2026, to have all players playing in Liberian League to be in the Connect system. It is beneficial, and it also helps with age control over the period. Internally at the LFA, we just completed with the HR training and assessment of the LFA, and other activities will continue to push trainings of our teams out of Liberia, not just in Liberia. Our assistant coach, along with the head coach, just came back from Saudi Arabia, went for training and coaching. So there are more opportunities that we have, and we keep pushing to ensure that we develop, because one key part of our football development that includes capacity building, infrastructure development, and building the technical team.
Okay, finally we go, Mr. President, third term. This is something that is a huge debate. Third term, will Raji be running for third term? Should Raji run for third term? Do you see the need? Will you be running for third term?
What do you think? What I'm focused on is the work that we promised to deliver, and I don't see it to be a violation to run. In the statutes, it is stated that you can run up to 3 terms, whether consecutive or not, and not more than 3 terms. But my major focus is to see that the pitch in Nima County, the county I love so much, dear to my heart, to have a pitch in Gompa City with lights, that we play the first international game, because we want to push a waffle competition to be played in Nima County, just like today you are saying in another city in Senegal. I want to see also an artificial pitch in Grand Jida County, in Maryland County, Grand Cru, Sano County, Grand Cape Man County, so we can continue. Well, we've done it. We've shown that we are able, we are capable in terms of developing football in our country and creating opportunities for boys and girls to play football. And when we reach that time, it will be left with the stakeholders to decide.
Are you moved by those who are protesting always, Raji step down, Raji step down? Are you moved by that?
I don't see who is protesting to tell me to step down. Because if you have at-risk youth who are being paid, who are not even footballers, going to talk about, one stepping down, it is important for me. I'm concerned.
And like what just took to me from penalty spot.
I'm concerned. I'm concerned that these guys need places to play, and that's the reason why we are creating more artificial pitches, so that the at-risk youth will have opportunity in a place to play football. Those who are protesting need to come out with the issues. Let us discuss the issues. What are the issues? Bring it to the table, and let's discuss it. They don't need to be afraid.
They say you will not listen to them. They want to come to you, but you will not listen to them.
Well, Trojan, I'm open. And again, to the general public, my office has always been open. We take in recommendations. Ones that are positive, we take it to the executive committee. The ones that are complicated, I don't understand, we ask you as the one recommending to come with the detailed information. Take for example, one of the club, two clubs, for example, had a meeting with me that they needed to manage their own games at the SKD. And present in that meeting was the marketing consultant of the LFA. I said, no problem. Send a letter, they didn't come back. Because you know what, if you are going to manage your own game, you have to pay for the stewards. LFA has been paying for the stewards. You pay for the medics. You pay for the gatekeepers. You pay for the ticket sellers. And I believe they did a survey and considered that what was happening, that, okay, it was not marketable enough for them to get returns. I mean, so if they didn't come back, you expect me to go and run after them, you know, to tell them to come. Now, others, there was a former president who thought that the sponsorship payment should be divided based on your level. Other clubs are not interested. So my question to him, or request to him, was that, and I mean, I will call his name up, Charles Masale. I'm going to come with a proposal, detail it, and let's give it to the clubs. You cannot just sit down and say, okay, because we're getting 200,000, it can be distributed based on performance. You have also inputs and feedback of those that are going to be affecting. Currently, we are distributing a orange sponsorship, 7,000 in the first division, 3,000 in the women's and the second division. Some of the first division are saying, no, we are first division clubs, we should get more. At some point in time, when they're relegated to the second division, we're like, okay, you know what? We need to reduce this amount. So it becomes a very bit, I mean, more like complicated situation. And again, Trojan, Chris, I have been open, very open with everyone. So no one need to be afraid. I'm not pushing anyone away from the LFA. It's not my LFA, it's everyone's LFA. And we are open to work together for the betterment of Liberian football. We had an open budget discussion before the Congress. Brilliant idea submitted by the General Secretary of Heaven 11. We said, let's sit on the table and see how we can work together, the club and the LFA, to attract more sponsorship. The election, I don't hear what is happening. I'm more or less focused in terms of implementing what we've promised. And I promised a lot of things that we've delivered. Today, you hear people talking about the FIFA Connect system, the digital system that I sat way out there and thought that, look, there's a need for us to do that. We talk about constructing the headquarter is near. We talk about pitches, you are getting pitches. We talk about increasing coaches, you are getting those coaches. We talk about reactivating the national teams, you can see them. I'm not just preaching it, but you can see those national teams just need to be supported. We talk about technical support for clubs. We are giving technical support. Last season, we gave each club 44 footballs, and some of the clubs received 45. First time in Israel about football. We provided training equipment to them. So there are a lot of things we are doing. Referees, for example, never in the past got subvention. We are giving a subvention. Luna, Lifa, Lifoka, all of them getting support from the football. But again, we will wait until 2026. We are focused on our work and our promises we made to people to develop football. We are focused on football development, good governance, reform, and transparency. So we focus on doing those works. And come 2026, those who want to come to the LFA, is our LFA. We go to the ballots. The clubs will decide whosoever want to run the football association.
Okay, Mr. President, it was a pleasure having you here once more on Sports Talk here on Intel Sports. Probably just a word or two on something we didn't touch on. You want to?
Well, nothing much. We just want to say, to the citizens that we need all of you. We need your support. Come at the SKD on June 9 to support our girls against Nigeria. We need everyone to be in red, white, and blue to fill the stadium. Let's cheer our girls up. Let's support them also. We're looking up to the government to provide support for all of the national teams that are in competition. Mind you, the under-17 will be playing June 9. Senior national team will also be playing June 9 against Sao Tome in Morocco. The under-20 is currently playing. We need your support. We need the government financial support. We need the issues of our coaches to be addressed. And again, Trojan, I cannot even say it more. If we don't get these fundings for the senior national team, well, I think Liberia will rather be sanctioned because we'll be unable to leave from Liberia.
Wow. All right. So that's the president of the Liberia Football Association, Mustafa Araji, who's been our guest this evening on Intel Sports, of course, Sports Talk. With the game, we're getting a lot of comments why you're not why you're not showing the game, but of course we can tell you the score is 1-1, right? 1 apiece. Liberia scored, Guinea-Bissau equalized, and the game is in the how many minutes?
88 minutes.
The 80th minute, and it's 1-1, 1 apiece between Liberia and Guinea-Bissau. It's very tough. So this is how we like to leave tonight. Chris Walker, Swaz Jeremiah Kmanku has been here with me as we went through with the president of the Liberia Football Association. So we're going to be back on Wednesday with another interesting edition of the program Sports Talk. Until then, thanks a lot for viewing. For all of you who followed us online, this has been Sports Talk on Intel Sports with me, Trojan, and Chris. We look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Declaration of Independence was signed in 1847. 11 nations of people, we are known as First Republic, the Lone Star shining evermore.